thought I'd make a quick video. I'm about to go see Spinal Tap. The End Continues with a friend, and I might do a brief review of it. It's kind of significant. I'm going with my friend with whom I saw the original years ago, and my friend and I, Bill, we were familiar with the people in it for a couple of reasons. Obviously, Michael McKean, who was Lenny in Lenny and Squiggy, but I was familiar with them through their associations with both the Credibility Gap and National Lampoon Radio Hour. So I felt like we were kind of in on the joke, and I remember reading about Spinal Tap on, I think, in Heavy Metal Magazine. The French and European comic magazine that had really nothing to do with the genre of heavy metal, with the exception of them doing an article on Spinal Tap. So I was pretty excited about it. And I think also there was a precursor to Spinal Tap on some comedy show. And now it's eluding me. I will remember it probably after I make this video. So we knew about it. And so a friend of mine, Bill, we went and saw it at Vancouver Mall's theater, which was not attached to the mall, but it was like a walk across the parking lot. And it seemed like Saturday matinee movies were like $1.50 or $2, something crazy. And you'd go in and there wouldn't be a lot of people in there. That's a place where I saw Raiders of the Lost Ark and lots of other movies for the first time. So it was, probably the closest theater to me. So we saw it there, and the funny thing is we were hanging out in the mall before seeing it. We ran into two girls we knew from school. I didn't know them, but my friend Bill knew them pretty well, and so we talked them into going with us. They were just hanging out. It's like, oh yeah, they didn't know anything about Spinal Tap. We sort of convinced them that it was a real band, this obscure band from Britain that are really kick-ass, and this is a documentary on them. It was kind of mean, but that's what we did. And then I remember after the movie, one of the girls really figured it out pretty quickly that it was a comedy. But that time, that type of mockumentary was pretty new. And then I think the other girl was still kind of scratching her head. She couldn't figure out if it was funny, but she thought that was a pretty cool band, though. And they are. I mean, I had the Spinal Tap soundtrack on cassette back in the day, and it was a lot of fun. I need to track that down and get it again. I don't have it. So I'm pretty excited to see it. We're going to see it with Bill, my friend Bill. I'm going to. And the Vancouver Mall's theater was torn down several years ago, but they have an AMC theater in there, and I've never actually seen a movie in the AMC theater in there. I've heard horrible things about it, that it's really beat up and whatever. But it'll be interesting, and it's actually inside the mall, so it'll be the first time I'm seeing a movie there. So I think after the movie, I'll give my reactions to it. I don't have my hope set up super high just because it's been so many years, and I feel like all the participants have really moved on, and the Spinal Tap thing has been, like, as far as cultural references go, it's just this thing that has really been really played out. So, and I've seen, Spinal Tap things they've done over the years, like reunion kind of events on comedy shows and stuff, and they're funny. So it'll be interesting to see how this documentary goes. I think it'll be fun. And I'll give my reaction. And as you can see, my studio is a fucking mess. I need to, rather than go see a movie, I should stay here and put all these records and CDs away and clean up my studio. But so like I said, I think after the movie, I'll record a quick reaction to Spinal Tap. The End Continues. Later. So yeah, I saw the new Spinal Tap movie yesterday with a friend. I thought I would record a quick reaction video about it after I got home, but I did a bunch of running around afterwards and was just too tired. I ended up turning in. So this is the next day. Now let's see how much of this is fresh in my head anymore. So I went with my friend, as I mentioned earlier. We both saw the original Spinal Tap 41 years ago. And as I said, we brought some friends with us, some girls that we ran into in the mall, brought them with us and kind of convinced them that Spinal Tap was a real band before watching it, and it was a real documentary. And that was silly, perhaps mean. And of course, my friend is sort of in touch with those people and, told me where they're at nowadays. Like a lot of us, they're like married and with grandchildren. And so anyway, it would have been funny to go with them. But, 40 years. Anyway, yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it about as much as I did all the other various Spinal Tap revisit things over the years. I think I remember the one that was the most significant was that Breaking the Wind tour or whatever. And I don't remember what that appeared on. I think it was maybe an HBO or Showtime special. And those were amusing. And this was just as amusing. If it wasn't for the significance of the date and seeing it again with my friend, I probably would not have seen this in the theater. There was really no need to. I enjoyed it. I felt like there was a lot of things they could have done beyond, well, let's just catch up with Nigel and, and crew. Because I think the music industry has changed so much in the last 41 years that maybe there's something they can do. I mean, they did sort of revisit that they're very old now and they've got lives outside of music. And those are kind of funny. Those scenes were funny, but those were also funny in the previous, cable things. The one where, I don't remember what it was, Derek Smalls and his dad were telephone sanitizers or something like that. I thought that was funny. Nigel works in a cheese shop, and those are funny. And the part where David St. Hubbins, and these are all spoilers, David St. Hubbins briefly is seen playing in a mariachi band, and that's funny. I liked it. And then the big draw, of course, is going to be that, and these are probably not spoilers because these videos are all over the net. We're calling it the net now. That the Spinal Tap play with Elton John and Paul McCartney. The Paul McCartney scene's pretty funny. The obligatory songs are they're kind of amusing. I don't remember if Paul McCartney had any appearances in any of those other Spinal Tap reunion kinds of things. I don't think he did, but that's the big thing, and everybody's going to want to watch those scenes. The Elton John scenes are amusing. It's cool to see Elton John singing a Spinal Tap song. That was amusing. He's a good sport, and he did really well on that, I thought. It would have been interesting to have some more people. There was Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers and Lars Ulrich from or not Flea. Was it? No, Chad Ackerman or Wackerman, whatever his name is, from Red Hot Chili Peppers. Who cares? But, they had to have somebody like that because they were looking for a drummer. And that's, the long standing joke within Spinal Tap is Spinal Tap's drummers all die horribly. And so that joke, if they finally get a female drummer, and that was interesting. I need to look up who that is. If she's actually the drummer in the movie, she was really good. Yeah, it was funny and it was sentimental. And then it kind of leans on, they kind of build the movie on this dramatic structure of that David and Nigel seem to have had a falling out and they haven't been doing anything. Like, why has Spinal Tap haven't done anything for 20 years? And why do Nigel and David seem to not be friends anymore? And then there's something, and then when it's revealed, it's just kind of dumb and thrown away. And then they have a rehash of what they did in the first movie, which is they put their differences aside and remember that they were once friends in a little row of flats who fell in love with rock and roll. And so they reprise that almost exactly, and then the conflict is just tossed off like, oh, who cares? And It seemed unnecessary. Maybe the story could have been a little different. But it was amusing. I enjoyed it. It was cool seeing them. Again, the songs are silly. I don't remember if there are any actual new songs revealed. But yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't have seen it in a theater if it wasn't the event of seeing it with my friend, who we saw it, 40 years ago when it came out. So that was significant. We had this long-standing date. We're going to do this when we heard that they're going to do it, and it was fun. And it was the first time I ever went to an AMC theater, one of those living room theaters. And I always thought that'd be obnoxious. A living room theater, I don't want to hear somebody eating food. But as it was, it was in one of the smaller theaters in their nice living room, chairs with ottomans, etc. And that was neat. There were a total of, counting us, 3 people in the theater. There was just one other dude in there. And the funny thing is, the seats that we thought we wanted to get, the really luxurious ones, were booked. Like, we couldn't get them online. My friend graciously bought the tickets for the show. And there was just like one other person. And it's like, why are these seats booked up? Is there some weird thing where there's some entity that books these seats and resells them? I mean, I don't know how that even works. And it's funny too, because on a local subreddit, whenever the discussion of movie theaters comes up and they mention the AMC theater, which is inside the mall, they always talk about it's garbage. It's really gone downhill. It's terrible. The seats are torn up, and then it's a garbagey place. And it's like, where are you seeing movies? I thought it was actually really luxurious and nice and kind of casual. And the seats are torn up, but a little bit. But you have thousands of lazy butts sitting in them every day. You're gonna get torn up. So I thought that actually enhanced the experience, going to see it in that kind of theater, because I generally don't like our local Plex type theaters. I find you're cramped. I usually find people's behavior in theaters annoying and obnoxious, even if they're not trying to be, but just the fact that people can't stop fidgeting with their fucking cell phones for 2 minutes is annoying. And you see people's screens all the time. Even if they're trying to be quiet, it's irritating. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I'll probably see more. I may actually see more movies in that theater. And I'm not really a go see movies in a theater person. So that was fun. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Spinal Tap. The End Continues. I probably would not have seen it in the theater if it wasn't for the significance of the date and everything. It was kind of an event. So I'll probably watch it when it comes out on video again. There's also some sound bites I want to retrieve from it. So yeah, Spinal Tap, The End Continues. If you're a fan, go see it. Maybe wait for it to come out on some home video format or streaming. But as far as like seeing it in theater, unless you went and saw the original one, there's probably not a lot of value in seeing it in a theater. So yeah, that's it. That's a shitty review. Thanks. Later.